You wake before the alarm again, not fully awake, just conscious enough to notice that you're waiting. The room hasn't changed yet. Morning hasn't been granted permission. Your eyes stay closed because opening them would mean the day is real. And right now, it still belongs to the night, the softer version of you. There's a thought still lingering from sleep. You don't know what it was, only that it felt certain. Something clear, something settled. It disappears the moment you try to look at it. The alarm goes off. You are already awake, but now you have to become a person. You reach for the phone before your face finishes forming an expression. The light is brighter than you expected. Not harsh, just decisive. Notifications wait like witnesses. They don't ask how you slept. They confirm you exist. And while scrolling, you feel it, the fading. A quiet idea you had during the night. A calm agreement with yourself. A decision you were sure you would remember. You don't, but you remember having it. You sit up. Your body is heavier than your thoughts were 5 minutes ago. In the dark, you felt organized. Now you feel distributed. You walk to the bathroom and pause halfway for no reason. There was a reason a second ago. You stand there long enough to notice the silence has texture in the morning. At night it holds you. In the morning it waits. Water runs. You don't recall turning it on. Your reflection looks cooperative, not convinced. Eyes open, but not aligned with you yet. You had clarity last night. You were certain about something small, not life-changing, just obvious. A message you weren't going to send. A sentence you were going to say differently next time. The way you would respond instead of reacting. You even rehearse internally. You can almost hear the tone you use in your head. Calm, precise, final, but the content is gone. You brush your teeth and try to retrieve the feeling rather than the thought. It slips away the more effort you apply. Morning doesn't erase the night. It replaces the interpreter. Coffee begins to exist in the kitchen before you do. The machine hums like it understands continuity better. Better than you do. The sound fills the space where the thought used to be. Last night it all arranged itself without effort. You didn't solve anything. It simply settled, like snow deciding where to land. You remember lying still, staring at nothing, and feeling finished the day in a way that didn't require tomorrow. Now tomorrow has arrived, and it doesn't recognize that version of you. You hold the cup, but don't drink yet. Heat feels like a decision you're not ready to confirm. There was a sentence you trusted in the dark. You tested it from different angles. Every angle agreed. You even imagined the morning version of yourself appreciating it. You almost smiled at how simple it would feel later. Now later is here. The certainty isn't. You sit down in the same chair where you sometimes scroll at night. During the night, it felt like a listening place. In the morning, it becomes a waiting place. A message appears on your phone. Normal tone. Normal words. But your reaction arrives faster than your memory of the night. The calm version of you hesitates, somewhere behind your eyes. Trying to catch up, you read it twice. There was a different way you decided to read things. Not what they said, what they meant. You remember deciding meanings were lighter than you've been carrying them. Now they weigh exactly the same. You start typing a reply. Pause. For a moment, you feel the outline of last night's understanding, like seeing a reflection in moving water. You stop typing because the words feel louder than they should be. A small awareness passes through. You were kinder at 2:14 a.m., not nicer. Kinder, not to others, to interpretation. Morning organizes facts. Night organizes context. You put the phone face down, as if the decision might remain unfinished long enough to remember. It doesn't. You stand near the window. People move with morning confidence. Keys, bags, destinations. You recognize the behavior, even if you don't feel it yet. Everyone seems already convinced of themselves. You remember how convincing you felt hours ago, lying in darkness, doing nothing. You weren't productive. You were aligned. The difference only exists at night. You leave the house. The outside air presses you into shape. Roles return automatically. Walker, passerby, observer, obstacle. You cross a street and realize you've already chosen your expression for the day without noticing when. Neutral, safe for strangers. Night didn't need expressions. It needed honesty. You try to recall the thought again while waiting at a crossing light. You don't search for words, just the direction it pointed you. Something about responding slower. Or maybe not explaining as much. Or maybe allowing silence to finish conversations. You're close enough to it that your chest recognizes it, not your mind. The light turns green. You walk and lose it instantly. Movement deletes subtleties. Inside a shop, a brief exchange happens. Good morning. Your voice sounds practiced. Not fake, just pre-decided. You hear yourself speaking from a distance. Last night you heard yourself from inside. You almost remember why you promised not to rush replies anymore. Then the moment ends, and you've already answered quickly. You leave holding something you didn't plan to buy. You often make small decisions faster during the day and large ones slower. At night it reverses. Walking again, you sense a quiet disappointment, not dramatic, just familiar. You didn't break a promise. You misplaced a version of yourself, and you know exactly when it existed. There was a specific minute where you trusted your perception more than your reaction. You felt patient without effort. You even thought, morning will feel different. Not worse, just louder. You were right. By midday, you don't try to remember the thought anymore. You try to remember how you were breathing when you had it, slightly slower. As if time was not something you were inside, but something passing near you. Now you're fully inside it. Afternoon conversations layer over each other. You respond correctly. Correctness returns before clarity. Someone laughs, and you match it half a second late. You notice the delay more than the joke. During the night, you didn't perform understanding. You experienced it. You sit for a moment alone, brief, accidental privacy, and it comes back in fragments. Not the idea. The relief. The relief of not needing to resolve everything immediately, of allowing unfinished thoughts to stay unfinished without anxiety. You feel it for 2 seconds. Then a notification vibrates. And your mind reorganizes around urgency again. Evening approaches not as a time, but as permission. You feel it before the sky changes. Your shoulders lower without instruction. Your reaction softens slightly. You speak less not because you choose to, because words feel less necessary. You realize the night version of you isn't wiser. It just isn't being watched. And something inside you behaves differently when no audience exists, even yourself. You go home carrying the day like background noise. You're waiting again, though you wouldn't call it that. Waiting for the moment, thinking stops trying to be useful. Waiting for the mind to stop anticipating tomorrow's interpretation of today. You sit in dim light. The same chair from the morning, but it recognizes you now. The phone is near you, but not urgent yet. Silence returns not as absence, but as space. And there, just before night fully arrives, you feel the edge of the forgotten understanding approaching again. It doesn't arrive suddenly. It gathers. Like a room remembering its original shape once the furniture is moved slightly away from the walls. You don't reach for it this time. You wait near it. The light in the room is softer than necessary, but clearer than daylight. Nothing demands definition. You sit the same way you did last night without planning to, elbows resting where they rested before, breathing settling into a rhythm you never managed to keep during the day. And with no announcement, the pressure to be consistent disappears. You notice how much of the day was spent maintaining a version of continuity. Finishing sentences the same way, reacting in familiar tones, confirming you are who you were this morning. Now you're allowed to drift slightly away from that agreement. The forgotten thought doesn't return as words. It returns as permission. You remember that you understood something not because you solved it, but because you stopped negotiating with it. All day you negotiate with moments. You adjust expressions, timings, responses. At night, you let moments remain uneven. You pick up your phone and put it back down without unlocking it. No discipline involved. No decision. The urge simply doesn't complete itself. Earlier you resisted things. Now things just fail to attach. You feel the same calm certainty from last night, not located in any specific idea, more like a posture the mind can take when it isn't preparing evidence. You think about the morning version of you searching for a sentence, trying to recover a conclusion, but this state never contained a conclusion. Morning keeps trying to remember a result that never existed. The night only held a perspective. You realize the thought disappeared because daylight asks thoughts to perform. And this one only exists when not observed. You lean back and watch small details become visible. The faint electrical hum in the wall, the pause between distant cars, the way your breathing adjusts when you stop monitoring it. Nothing here asks you to respond quickly. During the day, every perception becomes a prompt. Here, perception remains unfinished. You notice a memory from earlier, a conversation where you reacted faster than you wanted. You revisit it, but differently, not correcting it, not analyzing it, just allowing the moment to exist without rewriting your role inside it. And strangely, it becomes lighter without changing. You don't forgive yourself. You stop holding the moment in a fixed shape. That was the understanding. Not what to do tomorrow, not how to behave. Just the absence of urgency to finalize meaning. You feel certain you will forget again in the morning. The thought passes without disappointment. For a second, you try to secure it. Repeat it internally so it survives daylight. But repetition belongs to memory, and this belongs to state. You know the pattern now. Morning asks, "What did you learn?" Night answers, "Nothing, you just stopped asking." You sit longer than necessary. Time moves but doesn't accumulate. You remember how mornings feel compressed, every minute carrying expectation. Here, minutes dissolve into each other, indistinguishable but not lost. You consider writing it down. The idea fades immediately. Any sentence would make it smaller than it is right now. You understand why the morning can't retrieve it, because retrieval requires an object, and this is an atmosphere. A thought needs edges to survive daylight. This one survives by not having them. You rest in the quiet long enough that even self-reflection slows. The awareness remains, but commentary thins. You are not calmer. You are less arranged. And inside that looseness, reactions haven't formed yet. You imagine tomorrow briefly. The alarm, the phone, the light. You see yourself again trying to recall what felt so obvious tonight. You don't resist the forgetting anymore. Forgetting is part of how it returns unchanged. If it stayed, it would become a rule. Rules belong to the day. Night keeps it alive by letting it disappear. You notice you are no longer trying to hold the feeling. It holds itself when unobserved. The room stays quiet. Your thoughts no longer circle the idea. They pass near it and keep moving. You remain seated even after the moment feels complete. Because completeness no longer signals an ending. It only means nothing is being pushed forward. Somewhere inside, the same certainty settles again, soft, unrecorded, already preparing to vanish with the morning light.